आज मैं जितना काम करता
لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله الله تكبير الله أكبر الله تكبير الله أكبر الله أكبر
मौके पर कल विशाल शोभा यात्रा निकाली गई। शोभा यात्रा में बीएचपी के अलावा बजरंग दल ने भी हिस्सा लिया।
और ऐसे मोदी जी को अगर और शक्ति मिलेगी देश में, फिर इस देश में सनातन
जगदम्ब
विश्व हिंदू परिषद बजरंग दल।
आप जो ये मारते हो बच्चों को, मेरी बात सुन लो। जितनी भी दादागिरी है, जितने पहलवान है, आप अगर कोई आपके बैकग्राउंड में कोई दादागिरी है तो बुला लेना उनको और आ जाना, लड़ना हो तो। इन बच्चों को अगर आपने अब है ना ये अगर एक को भी हाथ लगा दिया और एक बच्चों को भी हाथ लगा दिया तो फिर ध्यान रखना है ना। मेरी बात सुनो, माफी मांगो आप सर, पर दो हम ऐसे लोग नहीं कि माफी मंगवाएंगे, गुरु से माफी नहीं मंगवाएंगे हम, लेकिन आप ध्यान रखना। तो भारत माता की जय के नारे में दिक्कत आ रही है, तिलक लगा रहे उसमें दिक्कत आ रही है, तो मैडम आप स्कूल में ताला लगा देता हूँ, बोलो 10 फीट में लगा दूँ ताला, बताइए ये गलत बात है। तस्वीरें होनी चाहिए हमारे जिसने देश आजाद करा है, जो महात्मा गांधी, स्वामी विवेकानंद जी।
This is why you always lock your doors. A disturbing set of videos were uploaded by user Savior of a girl who just moved to Ohio with a friend. In the videos, everything seems to be normal at first, other than a few odd noises around the house. But it wasn't until she's showing her mother the kitchen area that the lights turn off and things take a dark turn. This is why you always
If we ever broke
It's not often that territories are kicked out of countries. Most nations will often go to great lengths to make sure that they keep hold of as much land and as many people as humanly possible. Yet in 1965, this very thing happened to Singapore when it was ejected from Malaysia. Given how rare willingly losing a bit of land is throughout human history, the obvious question is, why? Why was Singapore, such a geographically important region, kicked out of Malaysia? So, after the Second World War, Southeast Asia was in a place of flux, and many of the area's imperial powers were struggling to reassert their authority there. This was because throughout the war, these areas had been occupied by Japan, and the Japanese had
The scariest animal encounters recorded
घड़ी की तुम गुहार दो, आन बान शान या चरित्र में मर्यादा लाऊं।
मोदी साहब क्या कर लेंगे?
How Genghis Khan's daughters made him the ultimate beast of the East. You see, Genghis Khan was an expert at using the daughter diplomacy. Like most rulers, he would marry off his daughters to kings of allied nations, but not before imposing some conditions. He forced the king to dismiss his other wives in order to marry his daughter. Then he would assign his new son-in-law to military duty in the Mongol Wars, while his daughter handled the affairs of her husband's kingdom. Genghis Khan made sure his son-in-laws died in wars by honoring them to fight for him in the first ranks. This allowed his daughters to inherit the empire of their dead husbands. Their job as rulers was to provide a protective shield around the Mongol homelands while their father continued expanding his empire. It wouldn't be wrong to say that the secret of Genghis Khan's success was his widowed daughters.
He woke up to noises in the kitchen.
मेरी मुस्लिम दोस्त थी, उसको बड़ा बुरा लगा जब बुरखे वाला केस पूरे देश में चला। तो मैं उसको मनाने के लिए, उसका बर्थडे आया था, तो मैंने उसे गिफ्ट दिया बुरखा। उसने बुरखा देखा और बुरखा मेरे मुंह पे फेंक के मारा। मैंने कहा सॉरी यार, तुझे बुरखा पसंद नहीं आया? कहते कि वो बात नहीं है। मैंने कहा क्या बात है? कहती है बुरखा ऑरेंज कलर का है। मैंने कहा हाँ पापा आरएसएस से हैं। मेरी मुस्लिम दो
आरएसएस की वजह से मुसलमान बर्बाद हुआ। आरएसएस की वजह से 1206 से 1707 मुसलमान शासक रहा इस देश में। 1858 से 1947 तक अंग्रेजों ने मुसलमानों की ही बात मानी। 1950 से 2014 तक प्रो मुस्लिम गवर्नमेंट रही। किसी की हिम्मत थी मुसलमानों कुछ कह दे। इस 7 साल में मुसलमान भिखमंगा हो गया और हिंदू सब अरबपति हो गए। आरएसएस की वजह से
हमारी नजर में आरएसएस सांस्कृतिक संगठन नहीं है, सांस्कृतिक प्रतीकों का इस्तेमाल करती है अपने राजनीतिक लाभ के लिए। जैसे स्वयं उन्होंने कहा कि सनातन धर्म सबसे प्राचीन है, तो सनातन धर्म का डेट जो है वो 1925 से तो नहीं शुरू होता है, वो तो हजारों साल पुराना है। मतलब आरएसएस के बनने से पहले भी धर्म था और आरएसएस के बाद भी धर्म रहेगा। इसका मतलब आरएसएस का धर्म से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, बस वो धर्म के प्रतीकों का इस्तेमाल करते हैं कि उस धर्म में आस्था रखने वाले लोगों का जो राजनीतिक विचार है उसको प्रभावित किया जा सके। जैसे अगर किसी खास पहचान के आधार पर राजनीति होगी तो उस पहचान को रखने वाले जो लोग हैं उनका वोट लेना आसान हो जाएगा।
This woman is the only nun to get her head.
Mr. President, now I just briefly want to make the people understand how can anyone do something like this? And for that, I have to explain to you what is RSS. RSS, Mr. Narendra Modi is a life member of RSS. RSS was an organization that was inspired by Adolf Hitler and Mussolini, came about in 1925. They believed in racial purity, racial superiority. They also believed they were an Aryan race like the Nazi believed they were an Aryan race. All that I'm saying can be verified. This is the time of information revolution. You can Google all this, what I'm saying. But it is very important for me to explain this to you so you know what is happening in India. This RSS believed in the ethnic cleansing of Muslims from India. At one point, there was racial superiority of the Hindu race. Secondly, it was hatred for the Muslims and for the Christians, because they believed that this golden age of Hindu civilization was stopped because of Muslim rule centuries back and then the British rule of India. So it was racial superiority and hatred for Muslims and Christians. This is openly stated. You look at the founding fathers of RSS, Golwalkar and Savarkar. Just Google them and you'll find out. And this ideology of hate is what murdered the great Mahatma Gandhi in 1948. It was this ideology of hate that made Narendra Modi in 2002 do a pogrom against Muslims in Gujarat when he was the chief minister. He allowed 3 days for these RSS goons who were inspired by the Hitler brown shirts. They actually wear brown shirts. This RSS, the Congress Home Minister gave a statement that in RSS camps, terrorists are being trained. And these terrorists butchered 2,000 Muslims and 150,000 Muslims were made homeless. Narendra Modi could not travel to the US because of that. And I need to make you understand this background before I explain to you that what sort of a mindset would lay siege to 8 million people with 900,000 troops. Women, children, sick people, locked in as animals. In fact, of what I know of England, if 8 million animals were locked in, the RSPCA would have made a lot of noise about it. These are human beings.
आप मानोगे नहीं, मेरी मुस्लिम दोस्त थी, उसको बड़ा बुरा लगा जब बुरखे वाला केस पूरे देश में चला, तो मैं उसको मनाने के लिए ना, उसका बर्थडे आया था, तो मैंने उसे गिफ्ट दिया बुरखा। उसने बुरखा देखा, बुरखा मेरे मुंह पे फेंक के मारा। मैंने कहा सॉरी यार, तुम्हें बुरखा पसंद नहीं आया? कहते जी वो बात नहीं है। मैंने कहा क्या बात है? कहती है बुरखा ऑरेंज कलर का है। मैंने कहा हाँ, वो मेरे पापा RSS से है।
Undisciplined boys grow up to be undisciplined men. Do you know the problem you're going to have?
Yes.
Undisciplined men end up in the hospital or in a prison, or they end up in a grave. That's what happens to undisciplined men. I got 4 daughters and 3 sons. I have raised my sons entirely different than I raised them girls, because I had to. Now, do I want my girls to be successful? Yes. Do I want them to get equal pay? Yes. Do I want them to be treated fairly? Yes. Do I let men run over them? Ain't no way. But them sons of mine and they mothers know, let me have these boys. I ain't over here trying to turn the girls into women, but I know about these boys, and I know what it takes to be a man, so I got them.